Sorry guys, had to get set up real quick. Anyway, we're back with chapter 18. As you can see from the spoiler from the last chapter and everything, and from this image, I think you know who we're going to meet. I think who you're going to see next in the story. The picture above doesn't belong to me, so right story rightful owner. Crystal was not... Oh, sorry. Crystal was not really doing much at the time. She was just crocheting some little patterns while sitting on a bench in her backyard, just thinking to herself. It had been a couple days since her and Zach had gone on their date, and she still riding the high of it. She could just catch herself smiling and feeling butterflies whenever she thought about what they had managed to do in less than a 24-hour period. All they had talked about and how much they had made it enjoyable. Even if it was short, it was the best first date that she could have been on, and it gave her so much hope for their relationship in the future together. She was a lot less worried about how they were going to make it work. She could see that they would have a good use of what little time they did have. She'd kind of come to accept the fact that that was life, wasn't it? You always seem to feel good, and you never have enough time to build a good you always seem to feel like you never have enough time to build a good relationship, and then you use the time you have, and when both parties work together, you start to realize what's important, and that you both find balance in things and make it work somehow. She was just crocheting away, smiling to herself, not paying attention, when she heard a squeaky little girl's voice. Say, "So you're the pretty lady that Zachy is trying to have a relationship with." Crystal jumped. Startled, she looked around, shocked, feeling her eyes landing on a little girl, standing right there next to the bench, staring at her curiously. As Crystal straightened herself back up, she took note of the strange girl. The little girl in question was staring at her with the biggest, brightest green emerald eyes. Her face was cute and cherub-like, with thick, dirty brown curly hair. She was wearing a long pink dirty nightgown and very dirty white socks. She was also carrying a big teddy bear. But the thing that was unnerving for Crystal was that she seemed to be bleeding from the top of her forehead. Crystal immediately felt panicked. Oh honey, are you okay? What happened to your forehead, sweetie?" Crystal got off the bench, immediately kneeled down beside the little girl, worried. "You're funny. I see why Zach likes you. You didn't answer my question, though," said the little girl in a cheeky, curious, yet stern voice. "You didn't answer my question, though." Almost stern voice. Crystal froze, tried to remember what the little girl had said. When she did, she straightened back up and backed away, taking a closer look at this girl. Now she was looking at her, she'd somehow tell that the little girl wasn't as she first seemed. In fact, she seemed to hold herself together, as though she was older than she looked by a lot. Her eyes showed wisdom that seemed beyond her years, and seemed a way to cut up and tear. And she seemed cut up and tattered to be fully okay, which told Crystal one thing: she wasn't entirely human, which meant she was someone Zach had probably told her to watch out for. Crystal saw that the girl was still watching for an answer, so she just said, "Oh yeah, yes, me and Zach are in a relationship, but it's complicated." She felt honesty was the best policy. "Oh, that's good. I just wanted to make sure that I had the right girl, that's all." The little girl giggled creepily. "My name is Sally, but it's not every day Mr. Slenderman lets a proxy have a girlfriend. Good to finally meet ya." She reached out her hand, shifting her teddy bear to the other hand. Crystal didn't know what really to do, but didn't want to be rude to the girl, so she shook the little girl's hand uncertainly. Crystal, nice to meet you too, Sally. I've heard a lot about you. I've heard a lot about you from Zach. And next time, Miss Crystal, you should be more careful who you shake hands with next time. For your own good, I mean. It's not always a handshake to everybody, if you catch my drift. Not sure if Zach mentioned that or not. She finished, sounding creepily happy about that last part. Crystal ripped her hand away, frightened now. But Sally just laughed. "It's okay, I don't have those kind of powers. It's okay, I don't have those kind of powers, but you don't have to be worried about that, so you don't have to worry about that, miss." Crystal tried to compose herself. "Oh, all right, that's great," she said, uncertainty about the whole thing. "Actually, I didn't just come here to see you for myself," Sally said. But I also came here to see if you would be so kind as to come and meet the rest of the family. Zach is wrong to keep you all to himself and not let us at least meet you at the very least. Her tone getting creepier and creepier as she went on. I'm not sure if Crystal trailed off, not knowing what really to say, but thankfully she didn't have to. Sally, Zach called, half stern, half worried, as he weakly came over the woods to where they were standing. That's enough, Sally. She isn't going to the big house. Not yet, without me or protection first. Sally looked at him and pouted. You're no fun, Zachy, and you can't keep her all to yourself. You need to share. She's my girlfriend, Sally. There will be no sharing. Not of that kind anyway, he told her firmly. Now back off with you. Now off with you now. Back to home with y'all. You're no fun, Zachy. You just wait until Slender hears about this. She stomped her foot as she said that and then spun around. But as it was turning to go, she looked at Crystal again and said, It was nice meeting you, Miss Crystal. Miss Crystal? Crystal will just have to play again with some other time, when Zach's not being a big fat meanie and keeping you all to himself. I'll introduce you to the others, too. She started to walk away. And feel free to come to the mansion any time. Don't be a stranger. She seemed to aim that last bit at Zach, somehow, without turning or even looking back at him. Crystal could just feel that last bit was for his benefit. As she disappeared, Zach clenched his hands together. He seemed to grow angrier, and then he looked at Crystal, and even though he was wearing his mask, somehow they knew what the other seemed to think about in that moment. The Head family was getting more interested in her, just as Zach had predicted, and they were getting impatient. And it was only a matter of time before Crystal was forced into meeting them, and they wouldn't all be nice. Ooh, so things seem to be really catching on, don't they, guys? As I said before, if you guys really like this and everything, please check out the almost full story. I still gotta write the last 2 chapters, the ending of it and everything, but check it out at Wattpad, Taz 1995, and the story's Creepypasta FanFiction Crystal and the Ruff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I really hope you guys are enjoying it. Some of you seem to really be enjoying these stories, and I'm sorry for my voice acting. I'm sorry my voice sounds different and everything else. I'm not a professional voice actor, and sometimes it's difficult for me to go. If I'd had more time and if I'd warmed up and everything and all and done my vocal exercises, I probably could have done a little bit better, but this is just me reading my own fan fiction and hoping you guys enjoy it, and I will try to do better next time. So I hope you guys like it and got the gist of what I was doing. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.